this is also going to be his last meeting, and he wanted to say a few words.
Thank you, Chair. I won't be long, but I guess I'll start with just a note of extreme thanks. Start with the staff. As I've mentioned many times before, it's very humbling, and it's been an extraordinary experience working with what I sincerely believe to be the most committed and smart people in state service. And I mean that. It's something very special to me that I had this opportunity to be surrounded by this intellectual trust that does the work that they do, that is focused obviously on public health and addressing the impacts of climate change. And it's just been a very unique opportunity for the last almost 10 years serving on this board. I do want to thank all of the board members, past and present, that I've had the great opportunity of serving with. I don't just consider you colleagues, I consider you friends, and I've come to know you personally and admire your dedicated service as well, and would hope that we certainly stay in contact. And as you know, I have the shortest commute to these meetings with my office just 2 blocks away. And so it probably shouldn't shock you that I'll be checking in once in a while, either maybe in person, but certainly over CalSpan. And I do want to also extend my thanks to our former chair, Mary Nichols. I consider her a mentor, and she entrusted me with a couple of very specific initiatives during her tenure while I was on the board serving with her. And Virginia actually mentioned one earlier in terms of the racial equity resolution, also working closely as a conduit from this board to the EJAC. I think it was actually during the last scoping plan update. I don't want to say too much more because I know that there's going to be some mention of both member Reardon's and my presence and service on this board, but it is very, very special to me that I've had the opportunity to serve not just with the people, but in this building that bears my late father's name, Joe Serna Jr., who was our mayor here in the city of Sacramento. Not a lot of people can say that. So that's always been a very special part of the service here. Of course, I want to thank Governor Brown for appointing me, and past assembly member and my predecessor on the Board of Supervisors, Roger Dickinson, who actually carried the legislation to finally add a Sacramento region dedicated member to represent the 5 air districts in this part of California. So it's also been an honor to be kind of the first to do that. And again, I just want to make sure people understand how people here understand how much I have appreciated your friendship, and to all the administrative staff, Tracy and Evan, and all those that do so much to make these meetings run and function very smoothly. I want to extend my thanks to you too. So I appreciate the few minutes, Madam Chair, to say these words, but because I won't be able to join my colleagues and staff in Riverside, I thought I'd be remiss if I didn't at least make note of how grateful I am.
Thank you. Board Member De La Torre.
This is not great.
I second it.
Phil is a true public servant. He didn't have to do this. He's got plenty to do as a supervisor 2 blocks away. But he is, there's no ulterior motive. There's no BS, very straightforward. He believes what he believes, and that's it. And there's no horse trading, none of the negative connotations of a politician. And to me, that's the bar, is are you a public servant or are you a politician? Because there's plenty of the latter. And what I found with Phil, as a former elected official, is that he is very much a public servant and willing to sacrifice things, self-interest in terms of the region he represents for the good of the state of California. And it's really hard for people in this kind of a setting to set aside their outside role and come here and be a policymaker, not an advocate, a policymaker for the people of California. And I've never, ever doubted for a second what Phil was here to do, that he was here to make as good policy as can be made for the people of California. So for that, I'm sorry to see you leave, but thank you.
Dr. Sperling.
Yeah, I want to add to what Hector just said. Exactly. I've been on the board. I've overlapped with Phil the whole time he's been on the board, and I've just come to admire Phil so much. It really is a huge loss to us. I mean, he's got, and to play off of the idea of politician, he's not here to, to promote himself, to just draw attention. He really contributes where he has something to contribute. I should point out, he's got such a big heart. He does so many things outside that are so impressive. Great musician on top of that. And he's brought a perspective to the board, in terms of local government, regional, some of the issues there that we don't always fully appreciate. So Phil has just been one of the best board members we've had. And I am so sad that he's leaving, but thank you, Phil. You've been great. And it's been wonderful serving with you.
Thank you.
Dr. Pacheco Werner. You're muted.
Can you hear me?
Yes, now we can hear you.
Sorry, just really want to thank Supervisor Serna for your help being on the board. I know I only got to meet you a short time, but really, really thankful for everything that you've done, and just a pleasure, and I wish you the best, and thank you for your service to all of the things that you do. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Dr. Balms.
I'll be brief. Thank you, Mr. Baseman.
Thank you.
Vice Chair Berg. Thank you, Phil. We got to work some of those key projects. It has just been a delight. I echo all of my colleagues' comments and delighted that we will end our friends and look forward to the next unsupervised performance. So enjoy the holidays, and we'll have lunch.
Great.
Thanks. Board Member Reardon.
Yes, I just want to say thank you to Supervisor Serna, because he was sort of my colleague in always reminding the board about the differences between the very large air pollution control districts and those of us who live in the more rural, smaller air pollution control districts, and how our rules sometimes don't fit every air pollution control district equally. So I shall miss him very much and wish him the best and hope that he does remain a resource for the board.
Thank you, Barbara.
Okay, and I'll just add that, I think board member De La Torre said it perfectly. This is not great. So I will miss you very much, and your sort of wise counsel and participation on this board. And the people of the county of Sacramento are so incredibly fortunate to have you as their supervisor. And we will miss you very, very much on this board. But I know you have a lot to do and a lot to give to the people of Sacramento. So I really appreciate working with you these last few years.
Thank you, Chair.